Hello everyone, this is Roxas1559. Welcome to my newest project of Transformers. Transformers was created and developed by Atari Melbourne House, published by Atari in 2004 for the PlayStation 2. In 2005, a Director's Cut edition was released inside of PAL Regions, including how the game was made and developer commentary. So what is Melbourne House's Transformers? Melbourne House's Transformers is a take on the Armada universe of Transformers, which aired originally in the early 2000s. And it's also one of my favorite games, to say the least. It was the first ever Transformers game I played, and Armada happens to be the first ever Transformers series I fully watched. The first Transformers series I ever watched was G1, and that was just a few episodes that my local library would have, and the 1984 animated movie called Transformers. But other than that, until Armada came out, I had not seen a full Transformers series. So, what is the story of Transformers by Melbourne House? Well, taking an abridged version of the events in Armada, Minicons had fled Cybertron in 1 million years ago, trying to flee the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons, and crash-landed on Earth as their ship was damaged when they were trying to go through the space bridge to flee Cybertron. As a result, their signal has reawakened on Earth, and both Decepticons and Autobots are frantically on the search for the Minicons. There are a few things that the series does not take into account, however, inside this game, so keep that in mind. Now, quick thing on this game. This game was never released inside of Japan. Yeah, I'm not joking. This game was originally released only inside of PAL regions and North American regions. Melbourne House being based out of Melbourne, Australia back in the day, the PAL region was the first version that was released, and that is also why PAL regions were the only ones that got the Director's Cut edition of the game, which actually I barely found out about a couple days ago that there was a director's cut edition of this game. And North American regions got the game later in the year 2004 for the PlayStation 2. And Japan never got this game at all. Now, I find that to be quite interesting, but there is a reason for that. And that reason is there was a video game titled Transformers for the PlayStation 2 released in 2003 by Winkysoft and published by Takara. This game is a little bit different than the Transformers game that we are going to be playing for this channel. That Transformers game takes place in the G1 universe of Transformers. Now, this is purely speculation, but something's telling me that Japan didn't want to have two games simply called Transformers, and that's one of the reasons why the game was not released inside Japan. The other reason is because this game is a third-person shooter with open-world environments. Yes, this is before open-world environments were done to death. But how will we be handling this project? Well, why don't we hit New Game and create a save file and start off right on the bat. We have 3 difficulties that are in this game: Recruit, Veteran, and Commander. I should mention right now, this game can be very unforgiving. So playing on Commander is like playing on Critical Mode in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. More so inside of Birth by Sleep Final Mix. Now, there are differences between the modes, specifically Veteran and Commander mode. In Veteran mode, all Minicon locations and all of the new data cons are in specifically set places. On Commander mode, the locations of Minicons are changed, as well as the location of data cons are changed. So, what are we going to be doing for this project? We're going to be playing on Veteran, much like how I did the last time I played this game. Yes, for those that do not know, this is not the first time I have done this project. This is actually the second. This originally was a Game Anyone exclusive back in the day, but that one was riddled with problems and had problems while I was uploading the project. And hopefully those problems don't rear their head again when I am uploading it to YouTube, because that would be quite bad. These episodes are going to be quite long, longer than most normal episodes and projects, even rivaling that of the length of JRPG episodes. And the reason for that is this game can be unforgiving, and I don't want to be stuck in the same spot for multiple videos. So, without further ado, let us hit this Veteran difficulty and start the game.
I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime. The Minicon Decepticons. Trace that energy wave to its origin. Autobots, we must stop Megatron. Roll out!
And so begins our adventure. Megatron, literally having Optimus Prime pinned to a wall, decides to not kill him to go after the Minicons. Yeah. So now, the only heroes who can stop him were basically let go and now are able to stop Megatron's plan of collecting the Minicons. Not your best and brightest idea there, good old Megatron, but welcome to the Autobot HQ, ladies and gentlemen. Inside the Autobot HQ, we can select our characters, select our Minicons, go out on missions, select our options, which reminds me, let us, audio controller settings. We are going to get rid of the inverting of the Y-axis. We're going to get rid of vibration right now, just to do that. And I believe I'm not inside of full screen mode. I will fix that inside of the next part because I didn't have data on this and I forgot to switch it while I was on the menu. So why don't we get into the characters we can play as and do something I've not done in a while, and that is talk about voice actors for quite a while. So our first character we have is the one and only Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots. You can get more info by hitting the circle button, so why don't we read this? Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots. Optimus Prime's strength makes him well-suited to deal with almost any Decepticon threat. Optimus can equip powerful Minicon companion combinations. Well, they're technically companions, so I'm not wrong there. In vehicle mode, his truck form plows through the enemy with devastating impact. And we get little bios on how much speed and how much power he has. Note how much HP he has. He has 700 HP at base with no Minicons. Next up, we have Hotshot, a combination of Bumblebee and Hot Rod comes Hotshot, a character who only shows up inside the Unicron trilogy to my knowledge and has not shown up in a single series besides a cameo appearance inside of Transformers Animated. So Hotshot got dropped off pretty hard in favor of Bumblebee, and part of that is because of the live action movie. So what is Hotshot's little bio? Hotshot's speed and dexterity make him perfect for scouting missions. He is well suited to reconnaissance, but has a reduced Minicon carrying capacity. As a sports car, he can outrun even the fastest enemy. Notice how he only has 400 HP. That's considerably lower than Optimus Prime's energy. And is also why it's somewhat considered hard mode to play through as Hotshot. You know, never mind the fact that you could also play on Commander mode, which is basically suicide. But next up, we have Red Alert. So, Red Alert, second in command of the Autobot mission to Earth. Red Alert is a seasoned veteran of many battles against the Decepticons. He is a specialist in defensive techniques and can endure heavy incoming fire. His vehicle mode, an emergency SUV, can navigate even difficult terrain. He, even though has more defense than Hotshot, only has 450 HP. So now we can get into the stats of everyone, which you can see right here. We have attack, defense, speed, and power. Attack is self-explanatory. It's how much damage you do with your attacks in general. Defense is how much of a hit you can take. Notice that Hotshot can't really take a hit and has low HP, which is why he is hard mode. And Red Alert has the highest defense, but still low HP, so while he can take a hit, it's still nowhere near as good as Optimus Prime, who has a defense of 4 and has 700 HP. Speed is how fast you can travel inside of vehicle mode and on the ground, so keep that in mind. Your movement speed does vary between characters. And power, the final aspect, is how many minicons you can equip. Minicons have a power rating on them, and in this case, with Optimus Prime having 5, he can equip up to 10 blocks of minicons. What that means is not 10 minicons, it means that you can equip up to 4 minicons that can total a block power of 10. So we'll get more into that once we actually unlock minicons. But now, before we continue on with this, and for this first episode before I end it off, I want to get into the voice actors of our respective characters that we have seen so far. So, first up, we have Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots, and voiced by Gary Chalk. Gary Chalk has voiced Optimus Prime since the Beast Wars and Beast Machines series that was inside the mid to late 90s. The Gary Chalk ended up voicing Optimus Prime up until Transformers Cybertron, which is part of the Unicron trilogy, which includes Transformers Armada, Transformers Energon, and Transformers Cybertron, Galaxy Force if you live inside Japan. Now, he hasn't done, to my knowledge, many other games, but in terms of the series, he is an iconic Optimus Prime to me because I grew up with, as well as many others grew up with, Gary Chalk voicing Optimus Prime. Nowadays, Optimus Prime is voiced by his original veteran voice actor, Peter Cullen, after returning to the role in the Transformers live-action movie and voicing Optimus Prime in every incarnation since the movie except for Transformers Animated. We'll get into that Prime later on because that is actually another character in this game whose voice talents are brought into play. Now, I should mention that Hotshot and Red Alert are different in terms of their voice actors. Hotshot inside of Transformers Animated, Energon, and Transformers Cybertron was voiced by Brent Miller. However, in this game, Dublin James provides the voice of Hotshot. Dublin James not doing too much else inside of voice acting for video games. But Red Alert's voice actor, on the other hand, has. Red Alert's voice actor inside the original show is Brian Dobson. But inside of this game, the voice talents of Darren Norris are actually used for Red Alert. For those who do not know who Darren Norris is, you might recognize him more as his role from Cosmo in the Fairly Odd Parents, as well as a number of other games. And in all honesty, between Dublin James and Darren Norris trying to portray the characters inside of the Armada cartoon, Darren Norris does a very good job at imitating Red Alert, to a degree, mind you. Now, Brian Dobson was a little bit different, only voicing Red Alerts inside of Transformers Armada, and a different voice actor voiced Red Alert inside of Transformers Cybertron. I don't think Red Alert ever appeared inside Transformers Energon at all. At least to my memory. I try to block out as much Energon of the Energon series as I can, as I will explain more into the project. But we have one last voice actor to go over before we end off this episode. And that is the voice actor for the Decepticon leader, Megatron. Megatron is another character who is very iconic to the Transformers series, along with his counterpart Galvatron inside of Generation 1, Generation 2, and the Unicron trilogy, as well as Beast Wars and Beast Machines. And the voice talents of David Kaye bring the character to life. David Kaye, better known for his role as Clank in the Ratchet & Clank series in every single incarnation, provides the voice of Megatron, since Beast Wars and Beast Machines, going all the way until Transformers Cybertron, voicing both Megatron and Galvatron in Armada, inside of Transformers Energon, and Transformers Cybertron, or again, Galaxy Force if you live in Japan. David Kaye did appear in one other series of Transformers, and that would be the next series after Transformers Cybertron, which was Transformers Animated. This time, however, voicing the titular hero Optimus Prime, thus making David Kaye the only person, to my knowledge, who has voiced both Optimus Prime and Megatron, which I find rather interesting. It should also be noted that Darren Norris, voice actor of Red Alert in this game, also voiced another character in the Transformers universe, the character known as Knockdown inside of Transformers Prime was voiced by Darren Norris, as well as the Vehicons, which were the grunt soldiers of the Transformers Prime series, and the Terracons of the Transformers Prime series as well were voiced by Darren Norris. And that takes care of the voice actors. So who are we going to be playing as inside of this game? Well, if the thumbnail didn't make it obvious, I'll say it now. We're going to be playing as Optimus Prime.
Let's finish this.
They do have different quotes that they say, and there are differences when you play as different characters. In the case of Optimus Prime, when you play as him, whenever you receive intel, you will receive it from Red Alert. And if you are playing as either Hotshot or Red Alert, you will get intel from Optimus Prime throughout your time on the adventure. So, why don't we see what our first level is, and then I'm going to end it off right there. I know, aren't I such a tease? So, first destination of this game, the Amazon in, looks like, isn't that the French colony in French Guinea? I believe it is, because that looks like where it is in South America. We have 9 minicons and 13 datacons to find, so why don't we get some more info? Amazon, minicon signal origin lost. Last known relay position in western Amazon. 10 clicks south, 60 north. That's west. That's the W. That means west. That's not an N. I'm an idiot. So, Megatron's Decepticlone invasion force engaged in an all-out campaign to retrieve minicons. Massive troop concentrations detected. Local space bridge node detected and online. So, terrain, jungle, climate, tropical, Decepticlone activity, heavy, Decepticon presence, unknown. So, anyway guys, I'm going to end it off right here. This is Noxus1359, and I welcome you all to Transformers. Next time, we're going to be heading on into the Amazon. And oh boy, are we going to get our butts kicked. See you all next time.